Here are 5 cities in France that you should never visit. Number 5 is a city in the south of France where a group of tourists got lost in the woods and stumbled upon an abandoned village. The village was found to be eerily quiet with all the houses being empty. As they explored further, they discovered a horrifying sight. A mass grave dug into the side of a hill. The tourists immediately called the police, and the local authorities were called in to investigate. It turned out that the village had been used as a secret burial ground for victims of a mysterious disease. The disease had swept through the village in the early 1900s and had claimed the lives of hundreds of people. The villagers had been so desperate to find a cure that they turned to a local doctor who performed a series of horrific experiments on them. But the experiments only made things worse, and the disease eventually killed him along with everyone else in the village. The tourists were shaken to their core by what they had found, but at least they were able to bring the horrors of the village to light. Number 4 is a city in the southeast of France. In the 1800s, the city was home to a large community of alchemists who were searching for the philosopher's stone. But when their experiments failed, they turned to more sinister means, kidnapping young girls and using their blood to create a potion that would grant them immortality. When the police finally uncovered the plot, they found a hidden underground laboratory filled with alchemical equipment and the bodies of the kidnapped girls. The surviving alchemists were put on trial, and some were even sentenced to death, but the legend of their immortality lives on. Number 3 is a city in the southwest of France where a woman hiking in the woods came across a creepy old well. She peered over the edge and saw a horrifying sight, a pile of bones at the bottom. She immediately called the police, and they were able to determine that the bones were human. They also found a nearby farmhouse and went inside to investigate. What they found shocked them to their core. The walls were covered with disturbing images and symbols, and there were strange devices and contraptions scattered around the room. It was clear that the farmhouse was the site of a horrific cult ritual, and the bones in the well were the remains of the victims. Number 2 is a city in the east of France. During the 1700s, it was a popular destination for wealthy Europeans looking to improve their health. But what they didn't know was that the city was built on a former burial ground, and the spirits of the dead were not happy to have their peace disturbed. Strange and terrifying things began to happen. People became violently ill, animals died suddenly, and ghostly apparitions were seen wandering the streets. The terrified residents fled the city, and it was abandoned. And finally, number 1 is a city in the north of France. In the Middle Ages, it was a bustling commercial center, but it was also home to a dark secret. A group of monks living in a nearby abbey were secretly digging up corpses and selling the body parts to surgeons who wanted to practice on fresh cadavers. When the townspeople found out, they were outraged, and the abbey was burned to the ground. But the legacy of the gruesome trade lives on in the legends of the city. Now that you know about these 5 cities, would you ever visit them? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see more videos like this, stay tuned.